Krug, except for this time, they are booing. Oh. That's right. The man's sending out fantasy football smack talk at midnight. You got to love the deranged mind of a Larry Krueger. Week 2, Krug. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Larry?
It's actually worse than that because I was in the Central Time Zone, and I was getting up. I was getting up for my early morning flight, and then I said, you know what? Maybe Murph's probably getting up right about now.
Oh, yeah.
Let's communicate.
Let's poke the bear a little bit. Yeah, I got you.
Let's communicate.
Congrats on your Week 2 status as the 7th highest scoring team in the league, and the trophy will be arriving by FedEx shortly. All right.
Sounds like it sounds like an argument about should we have each state vote, or do you like the way we vote now, right?
We're going to electoral college on fantasy football. Is that what we're
I
doing?
think Murph just brought up electoral college right there.
I mean, the crazy thing is, boys, you don't even play each other until week 6.
Oh, you looked it up?
I just looked it up right now.
Maybe
I was like, when is this big showdown going to happen?
Maybe I'll
week
have
6.
the wheels on by then.
Yeah.
Maybe the great Xavier Worthy will have returned by then.
Oh, God, it's just a
and
couple
got re-injured.
Couple of worthy catches, and my entire season is different, buddy.
Well, here's a question for you, Larry, to kick it off, because I believe you have Brock Purdy on your bench right now. So will Brock Purdy be back by the time you face off against
Did you
Murph?
not check the transaction wire this morning?
Did he drop Brock Purdy?
Obviously, he's not current.
Did. I checked the transaction wire.
I said goodbye to, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. You're just a little too weird for me, and said, "Come on down, Mac 10."
Look at this guy. He's going on Mac Jones.
So now
I'm
have
going
both.
Mac Jones against Arizona this week.
So you have Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. So who's playing week 6 against Murph?
You know what? Brock and I and Kyle and Mac, we have to huddle on that.
By that point, Drake May will be establishing himself as the right-handed Steve Young, and I'll be soaring up the standings, dude. All right, enough of that smack talk.
Yes.
Here we go, man. 49er football in New Orleans. It doesn't get much better than that. And it came down to another defensive stop. Larry, are you pumped that the Niners are closing out these games when they have to? Or are you a little worried that these games have been so close against, maybe not the best teams in the NFL?
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, this isn't college. You don't just roll everybody by 48. These teams are good. All these guys get paid as well. I mean, the Saints have some really good players on their defensive front. So no, I was very encouraged though by Bryce Huff, because I've been talking up Bryce Huff and that addition all this entire offseason. And I just think that in the first 2 games, you see that if the Niners can get to the fourth quarter with a lead, and especially if they can play some complimentary ball and win the time of possession, they are going to dial up some serious heat, because Bosa and Huff off the edges alone is good. But then you throw Mikel and you tier Gross Matos inside, and now you've got 2 interior rushers that are just way too quick for the guard. The other thing I love about Huff is he's such a speed edge rusher that he just spreads out the line that much more, creates so much more room, and that's where Mikel dominates. He dominates if you give him a lot of space against the guard. So I think it's a well-conceived front, and one that is going to be really good against the pass all year, I think.
Larry, we did not get a chance to talk to you last week, so I want to tie this into the question, too. And Nick Bosa closing out the game in the fourth quarter up in Seattle after we saw Bryce Huff close it out in the fourth quarter in New Orleans. Do the 49ers win both of these games without Robert Salah?
I don't think so. I think Salah, not only that, Salah, when you talk to Salah, I mean, I don't know if you saw Fred Warner's quotes, Marcus, but I mean, Fred's like, hey, man, this guy's a genius. And, it's more than anything, it's like they believe in what he's selling, right? I mean, he's selling it, but they believe it. I'll say this. I've asked him 3 or 4 tough questions, and he's given me some incredible answers, and I walk away going, okay, I believe him. So he's just a very strong football man with a strong resume, and he's in the right place at the right time with the right guys.
It really has been fantastic to have him back, and you can see the way they're closing it out. Let's talk a little bit on the other side of the ball and the guy you picked up on the waiver wire, Mac Jones. Where are you coming in, Larry, on the national narrative? You didn't need to pay Brock Purdy because Mac Jones can do the same thing.
Well, I mean, I guess you could make that argument, and I understand the argument. I will say this about Mac Jones. There is, from day one he showed up this summer, there is a very sobering, serious look on his face. He's a loose guy who likes to have fun, and he's still a loose guy. that likes to have fun. But this is a smart guy, and nobody needs to tell Mac Jones that it's now or never. I mean, if he lays an egg here, his career is a footnote. If he blows it up here, which looks like what he's going to do, he's going to be a rich man with, a mansion and multiple cars and lots of wealth. So he knows it. What opened my eyes, guys, he told us before camp that in June, he practiced by himself in Jacksonville outside in pads, just because he ran the plays, he learned the book, he learned the full breadth of the Kyle Shanahan playbook, sweating in Jacksonville in full pads by himself. I mean, there's a level of all in with that little anecdote that really shows his mindset. He knows it's go time for him.
Larry, we have to ask you about the boys up front blocking for Mac Jones this past weekend, and I want to ask you about Connor Colby. And I don't want to overreact because it was just one game against the New Orleans Saints, but did John Lynch possibly find something in the 7th round with Connor Colby?
There was a moment this summer, Marcus, and I walked up to Chris Furster, the offensive line coach, and I was asking him about Colby because I saw Colby just getting destroyed in the one-on-ones as a pass blocker. And so I asked him, I said, Chris, what do you think of Colby as a pass blocker? And he goes, he's great. He looks amazing. And my face, I'm like, what? Is Furster losing his touch on reality? And I said, Chris, those one-on-ones. He's like, oh, yeah, that stuff. Yeah, right. He's getting beat in the one-on-ones. It's the 5-man pressures that I care about, and he is fantastic. He immediately compared him to Dom Pooney, and he said, he reminds me of Pooney from last year. Once we realize that a guy can pass protect, that means he can play right away because it's a passing league. So that he told me, hey, you know what? Colby, believe it or not, the book on him coming out of Iowa is great run blocker, not a great pass blocker. In reality, it's the opposite. He's a great pass blocker, and he needs some work on his run blocking. But I thought Chris gave me the indication in early July. This guy's got starter potential, and I don't think he's ever going to give that job up. I hate to say it. I mean, I love Ben Barch, but I think Ben Barch is going to be hard-pressed to get that back.
And the film was great on Colby. He really played well, and we'll see what he does this week. Finally, just kind of looking ahead to the game, Larry. I mean, Arizona and Kyle and the Cardinals and their coaches have changed, but they're 5-5 in their last 10 against each other. The Cardinals have 3 big injuries, 3 DBs, Will Johnson, Garrett Williams, Max Melton, all got dinged up. They're all questionable. Now, they all might play. I don't know. We'll learn a lot more today and tomorrow and all that. But just your view of the matchup of what the Niners are right now in their situation without Kittle and without Ayuk and maybe not without Purdy against an Arizona team that is also 2-0 but has some injuries. So to you, what's the controlling storyline going into Sunday?
Well, the Cardinals have won in San Francisco recently, and they come in with a lot of confidence, I'm sure. It's going to be about what it's always about, which is, you got to have a 4-man tied together rush of Kyler Murray. Last year in the game, you guys remember, Murray got loose down the sideline, or wasn't even down the sideline. He went off tackle, and Devondre Campbell was like standing right there, and he ran right by Campbell for 50-yard touchdown run. So you got to keep him hemmed in. I mean, they have James Conner and Trey Benson. Conner's off to a little bit of a slow start, but you got to control Kyler. You got to keep him hemmed in. I think it'll be interesting, guys, to see if Salah dials up some 5- and 6-man pressures involving some smaller people. I think the prevailing wisdom is that you should the best way to rush Kyler is with smaller guys that can break down in space. So that's what I'm expecting to see. I expect it to be an absolute knockdown. All these NFC West games are going to be hard. They're all going to be hard, and this is going to be a hard game.
He's brought Upton Stout a couple times, and it'd be kind of fun to see a moment in time when those two are face-to-face in the backfield, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then the other thing is, Trey McBride is a terrific player, and he's far and away Kyler's number 1 target. And so, how well do the Niners defend McBride and tight ends this year is going to be a big narrative.
Yeah, and that brings to mind Fred Warner, who was named NFC Defensive Player of the Week this week. So well deserved. That was a Freddie football game, man. That was pretty. That was one for the highlight reels. Fred Warner, 54.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him. He's it's I thought he couldn't get any better. And to me, if there's one thing, the Niners kind of dodged a bullet. Me and others were like, dude, how could you guys say goodbye to Dre Greenlaw? Oh, Dre Greenlaw. And I love Dre Greenlaw, and the Niners love Dre Greenlaw, and he would have been amazing, but he just can't stay healthy. And it was more of that would have been more of a decision made with emotion and not your head, because right now Winters, is absolutely playing fantastic football, and Winters and Warner together, with Warner at the top of his game, it creates a deadly duo in the middle.
Fun game Sunday. You're right. Divisional games are gnarly. The Cardinals are weird, so don't take anything. Niners are 1.5-point favorites. Both teams 2-0. 125 kick on 8-10 and 107.7 The Bone. Krug, I'd say good luck to your fantasy team, but I wouldn't mean it. So
we don't need it. We don't need that luck.
You're going against Young Tony. You want to hop on and get in, Young Tone, on this? You want to talk a little smack to
I'm all business. I'll let the players do the talking.
Okay, all right.
Look at that.
All right, we'll see. Kruger versus Young Tone.
Yeah,
this week.
Young Tony, this is crazy. I feel like I'm at a barbecue and my drunk uncles are like fighting and arguing while I'm just sitting here in first place in the KBR Fantasy League.
Oh, man.
I mean, we're forgetting who's in first
No
place
love
here.
for Marcus.
I mean, what's going on here?
Krug, he just called us drunk uncles, by the way.
Uh-huh.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I was in New Orleans all week. I can't.
Did you have a hurricane? Is that still on the play sheet? A hurricane at Pat O'Brien's.
I had a hurricane at Pat O'Brien's.
Yeah.
I got one for my son.
Ooh.
He had one as well.
Oof.
We had the beignets at Cafe Du Monde, and we also had a little fried alligator bites at Cochon.
Dude,
and I recommend them. I recommend them highly.
Father-son hurricanes.
Nice,
that's life at its best,
living
buddy.
life.
All right, Krug, be good. Take care.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.